I want to start this the same way so many of my consultation calls start. Someone books a call, we exchange greetings, and before they even finish their first sentence, I can already hear it. They're tired. Not just tired like they need rest, but tired in the way healthcare professionals get tired when they've given everything to a system that keeps asking for more. More shifts, more documentation, more emotional labor, less control. They tell me they've been researching healthcare transportation. They've watched the videos, they've taken notes, they're ready to start non-emergency medical transportation. And at first, California feels manageable. They tell me it doesn't seem that complicated. They've seen the Medicaid videos, they've heard about the brokers, they've heard just get approved and start driving. But then the conversation shifts, because once we start talking about how California actually works, I can feel the energy change. There's a pause, there's a hesitation. Sometimes there's silence, not because they're being difficult, but because complexity sounds like resistance when you're desperate for relief. I can hear the disbelief, not in a disrespectful way, but in the way that people respond when what they want to be simple isn't. And I understand that reaction deeply, because when you're burned out, you don't want layers. You want a straight line. You want a checklist. You want momentum. But California is not built for shortcuts. And California is not forgiving when you build on assumptions instead of structure. If we haven't met yet, let me properly introduce myself. I'm Coach Willena McGee, RN BSN. I help burned out healthcare entrepreneurs transition into healthcare transportation, also known as NEMT, so they can build sustainable self-pay transportation businesses without brokers, without Medicaid dependents, and without chasing facility contracts. And I want to say something very clearly, because this is where people get stuck in California. California feels simple in the beginning because the entry point looks accessible. There are videos that talk about Medicaid. There are explanations about brokers. There are people showing you how to get started. But California becomes complex when you try to scale, because scaling exposes whether your business was ever truly built or just activated. Here's what I've seen repeatedly with my California students and consultation calls. People build their expectations around the Medicaid and broker model because that's what most of the online content focuses on. But in California, Medicaid transportation lives inside a layered system: state oversight, managed care plans, vendor pathways, documentation reviews, inspections, and timelines that are rarely fast, so approval slows down. And while people are waiting, they realize something uncomfortable. They don't actually have a business that can operate without the system feeding it. No independent pricing strategy, no direct-to-consumer positioning, no self-pay infrastructure, just waiting. And waiting is expensive. California also has a way of revealing insurance gaps early. The coverage you think is enough often isn't aligned with how you're actually operating, especially if you're transporting medical passengers in a premium healthcare adjacent way. What works on paper doesn't always hold up when you're forming partnerships, marketing your service, or expanding your service area. Then there are the inspections and operational readiness requirements. California does not care how polished your YouTube or Instagram looks. It cares whether your documentation matches your operation. And this is where I see the disappointment set in, because someone will call me and hear one key insight on a consultation call, one important correction, and I can almost feel the hope attach itself to that single piece of information, like that one thing is going to turn around everything. But businesses don't work like that. Not in healthcare, not in transportation, not in California. Every successful model, yes, even the broker model, runs on system, structure, pricing, discipline, and compliance alignment. Self-pay is no different. The difference is that self-pay gives you control if you build it correctly. And this is where I need you to hear me. California is not hard because it's impossible. California is hard because it is a filter. It filters out businesses that are underpriced. It filters out operations built on borrowed models. It filters out people who mistake activity for infrastructure. But when you respect California's structure, when you stop trying to force it into a broker-based blueprint, instead build a business that stands on its own, everything changes. Your confidence changes, your pricing changes, your marketing changes, your clients change. You stop chasing approvals and start attracting aligned customers. You stop waiting for permission and start operating with clarity. And clarity is what most people are actually missing, not motivation. So here's the question I want to leave you with. Are you trying to build a California NEMT business using a model designed for someone else's system? Are you waiting on Medicaid or brokers to validate a business that was never structured to stand on its own? Or are you ready to build a self-pay transportation business that can operate, grow, and scale in California without dependence? Because California will reward preparation and it will expose improvisation. If this is resonating with you, go ahead and follow, like, and subscribe, because I teach this in my members only section and our private community with the depth most people don't hear until after they've made costly mistakes. And if you're serious about your first steps to building self-pay NEMT services in California, click the link in the description or the comments, and I'll send you my California self-pay NEMT guide and checklist bundle so you can stop guessing, stop waiting, and start building with intention. California isn't confusing when you understand the structure. It only feels confusing when no one explains it. And now you found someone who will. Be blessed.